Good afternoon, sports fans and Corvette fans. Bob here with the question I get asked a lot. A lot of people ask me this question. You know, you've had, what, 16 Corvettes, and you go out and you buy, and they're all standard shift Corvettes, and you go out and you buy an automatic. What are you doing buying an automatic? What the heck's that all? Oh, by the way, I just had a couple of stitches in my nose here, so I look like the wife hit me with a baseball bat or something, I don't know, but it's fine. But anyway, why would I go out after all these years and buy an automatic transmission? I love shifting. I've always loved shifting. I hear guys say, oh, you know, you lose your manlyhood. You're not a guy anymore if you don't shift. You roll those gears. I've rolled those gears in Corvettes for 51 years. But I made I think, a conscious decision to change after all these years and get an automatic. Let me tell you why. First of all, a big deciding factor was the fact that the automatic transmission is the only transmission of the two that can get you 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds, according to General Motors, 2.95 seconds. The manual transmission, 3.4 seconds, something like that, 3.2, 3.4. There's a much greater chance of error missing a shift. I've seen a lot of guys do that with the standard transmissions. That's another reason I decided. Another one was you get into traffic. I love driving the car, but when you get into traffic, you hate a manual transmission. You wish you had an automatic. So now I don't have to bother. And I can put the automatic in manual mode if I want to. So it's kind of like a standard shift. Not really like it, but it's kind of like it. It's like a little trade-off, but it's nice. You can shift the car with the paddle shifters on it. So that I like. I also like the fact that the automatic transmission shifts faster than you or I can shift manually. In shifting cars, autocrossing for over 20-some years, a lot of fast, quick shifting, drag strip, a lot of fast, quick shifts, some of which I missed. Not going to happen in the automatic transmission. When you use launch control, it's so easy to launch the car with an automatic transmission and just a little bit of driving skills. You don't have to be 20 years experienced racing or anything, but you can do a couple of years, a few autocross schools or track schools, Ron Fellow School out in Las Vegas, something like that, would get you a long way to handling all this. This car is a kind of a monster, and I think for some people, their driving skills aren't up to the level of this car, in all honesty. And if you don't have some driving skills, go out and get some before you start fooling around with this car, because it can be a handful for some people. And I've seen some videos, even on YouTube, of people not being able to handle the power that this car has. But I think from driving schools and track times and especially autocrossing, I think autocrossing helps you with your quickness of hands and feet, and it's much more inexpensive than taking a car to the track too. So those are some of the reasons why on the manual transmission side, I love the rev matching. I had a 2016 Stingray. I absolutely love the 7-speed. I always put it in rev matching almost all the time when I had all the thousands of miles I put on that car. And I absolutely love the rev matching. That is the nines. If I only get them in motorcycles, because I don't do very well downshifting. I do okay, but I wish I could do a lot better in downshifting in my motorcycle. But eventually they're coming on motorcycles too. But if you want something a little more controllable, get a Grand Sport or get a Stingray Z51 or a Grand Sport, and you'll be fine. You'll be shy a couple hundred horsepower, but you really don't want to get into this car, I don't think, unless you have some driving skills under your belt. Either that or keep a block under your gas pedal. That's what I got for you. So anyway, let's go out. There's two things I want to show you today in the car. We're going to go out in the car in a minute. Two things I want to show you today: the manual mode in the automatic transmission and the automatic. Now, when you're in automatic mode, you can actually go into manual mode. This is crazy, but on the paddle shifters, if you hit the minus button, which is on the left-hand side, upshift button is on the right-hand side. If you hit the minus button, you go into manual mode for about 6 seconds. You go into manual mode, and if you don't do anything for about 6 seconds, it goes back into drive. So you can pop down into manual mode. Let's say you're coming into a traffic light. Instead of going with the automatic transmission and eating up all your brakes, you just tap it maybe down to fourth or to third, and it'll help slow the car down a little bit for you instead of using on your brakes. Or you might want to downshift to get around somebody. That works too. But you can also downshift with the gas pedal, but it's a little more, it's not as controllable as it is with the manual shift. Now, if you downshift, if you get in the manual mode, you want to go back to drive, just hit the upshift button, put you back in drive. It's the damnedest thing you ever saw. Manual mode, of course, keeps you in manual mode, and you can see the shifter going up and down. So let's not talk, I just want to show you why I love this automatic transmission. So let's stop here. We'll go out and get in the car, and let's do a little bit of driving, and I'll show you the manual mode and the automatic mode. We'll have a little fun today. We are in, let's look at our dashboard here. We are in drive 1, and it works just like an automatic. Works just like an automatic. Okay? Driving along. Notice I have paddle shifters on this car. Paddle shifter on the left. Paddle shifter on the right. Alright. And we're in drive. Now, I can drop down a gear if I step on the gas a little harder. It will drop down a gear or two to get you going. You can drive the car basically in drive all the time. You don't have to put it in any other gear. You just leave it in drive. Drive it around. Now let's say I want to drop down a gear. Well, how do I drop down a gear? I can't unless I, play around with a gas pedal. Well, you can drop down a gear. You can use a paddle shifter. The left-handed paddle shifter has a minus sign on it. I'm driving along, hit it once, watch my gauge, down to fourth, hit it again, down to third. I'm going to hit it again, down to second. I'm going to hit it again, down to first. Notice it blipped the throttle for me and everything. Very nice. Now, if I stay in this long enough, it'll go back to drive. Watch this. Now it went back to drive. So you can play a little with the paddle shifts, and you can put it back in drive too. So you have all this neat stuff you can do while you are in drive. Take it right out of the gate here. Not too many people driving today. This is Friday. Irma's supposed to be here Sunday, I think. Something like that. So, everybody's kind of crazy down here right now. Alright. Back to the dash. Driving along here. Minding our business. Drop a gear. Watch the dash. Bottom right where it says D. All of a sudden it looks like I'm in manual mode. It's showing me the number 4 instead of the D. Hit it again. I'm down in third gear. Nice. Now if I wait about 5 or 6 seconds, watch what happens. It'll automatically go back into drive. Boom. See that? Went back into drive. So I can go into manual mode while I'm in drive. I don't have to shift down to manual mode. If I'm coming down here and all of a sudden I want to get a passing gear, I notice it in the upper left-hand corner. I'm in 6th gear. I don't want to be in 6th. There's 5th, 4th. Maybe I want to be in 4th gear, so I'll have some nice, power to get where I'm going. So that looks pretty nice. Now the other thing you can do if you want, this is one thing I don't think most of you know. This is a little nugget for you guys and gals out there. I'm going to drop down. Well, I'm going to show you what I'm going to. I'll come to a stoplight, so I'm going to have to. I'm just going to have to hold it for a minute. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I can drop down to the lowest possible gear while I'm in drive. Say what? Yeah, I'm going to be able to drop down to my lowest possible gear while I'm in drive. And I'll show you how this works. I'm doing 37 miles an hour in drive. I'm going to take I'm in 6th gear. I'm going to take my left paddle shift. I'm going to click it once and then hold it down. And it put me all the way down into 1st gear. Look at that. Amazing, huh? Lowest gear you can possibly go into. Goes back into drive. Thank you very much. Works like a charm. I like the ability. I don't like to slam it down to the lowest possible gear. I don't really need it. I would rather shift just, 4th gear, 3rd gear, 2nd gear, something like that. I don't want to be beating the crap out of the car. I mean, I like to drive it hard, but there's no need to really beat the snot out of it. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, we have some lights. We have a little traffic. There's still people driving. Big, huge hurricane ready to run up the whole gauntlet of Florida. And there's people out driving. They're driving. So we'll take a right down here. And when we come back, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you driving in manual mode. In manual mode is really kind of simple. I can do this real quick. I'm going to put it in manual mode. I'm going to have to hold the camera with my other hand. I'm doing all this with one hand, so it's kind of tricky. I'm going into manual mode now. Notice in manual mode, hold on. Notice in manual mode, it shows that I'm in 3rd gear. Now in manual mode, it'll stay in 3rd gear forever until you shift. And I can shift either with the plus paddle, I can shift up a gear, and with the minus paddle, I can shift down a gear. It's that simple. That's manual mode, basically. That's it. All right. The only thing that one other thing I want to tell you is in manual mode, it will not let you shift into a gear that would over rev the car. In fact, you basically can't over rev the car, but it's not going to let you do something real stupid. It's going to make sure that you keep the car in the correct gear, or a gear that is workable and not a gear that is not workable. The revs are you're going too fast to go into 1st gear. Let's say you're going 70 miles an hour. You do not want to be going into in fact, it's not going to let you go into 1st gear if you're going 70 miles an hour. It's safety. It's trying to keep you safe. So there you have it. Manual transmission and an automatic. It's the only thing I don't like. If there was one complaint. By the way, it goes back into 1st gear when you come to a stop. One of the things I don't like is it shifts slow when you do it in manual mode. It doesn't shift as fast as when you're in automatic mode. So I find it's much better to keep the car in drive if you want the quick shifts. You're not going to get the quick shifts if you're in manual mode. That's it. I hope this was a helpful video to you, and I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you liked it, please hit like. And if you haven't subscribed, it would really help if you hit the subscribe button, so don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. It'll just send you a little note every time, or most of the time, that I put up a new video. If you hit the bell, then the little bell, you'll get a notice every time I put up a new video. I'm trying to do one a week, so I'm not going to bombard you with videos, but at least one a week. So again, thanks so much for watching. Have any questions, post them down below. I'll try to answer every one of them. Thanks again.